back again today, and we're joined by our new guest, Lauran Elizabeth.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very, very good. So I can't remember the last time I've seen you like physically in the real world, but this is great to catch up because Lauran joined us, as I'm sure some of our fans knew, in season 1 of Love Hurts, episode 3. It was, and yeah, why don't you tell us? Yeah, how did you get involved in Love Hurts? What was the big? I know how you got involved, but do you remember how you got involved in
it? See if our stories match.
you didn't owe us money.
No, I didn't owe you money, and I wasn't a health club member, so you know, most ways have gone. No, I think we had sort of like a mutual friend that was involved, Dale, and you'd obviously been to college and known him for many years, and I ended up falling into it, as I do with most things in my life, to be fair. Yeah, so I kind of fell into it, and yeah, the character was Amy. I remember Amy, the man hater.
That was right. We were trying to get an actress, and season 1 was really interesting because nobody kind of knew what we were doing, so we didn't really advertise. We just, like you said, tried to find people that would be interested, and spoke to Dale, and he says, I know someone, and I said, yeah, she's really keen, and he said, he showed me a picture, and I was like, perfect, and yeah, off we come. Yeah, because traditionally you do singing, don't you?
Yeah, so not an actor, never really acted before. Wouldn't call my performance Oscar worthy, but I think we got there with it.
No, the funny thing, the connection there, I would say, is that because I had seen you sing, I think, a couple of times before you actually even did the filming and that, and you had a lot of you know, when you're doing repartee with the crowd, when you're doing the microphone and you're talking to the audience, and when I remembered the way you were talking to the audience and the banter, that's when I thought you're going to absolutely be able to do the acting, no problem at all. So I think you approached it with a lot of confidence, and I think that came across. So you know, I wouldn't be. I think you come across very well, especially for someone you've not done any acting before then.
No, not since like school plays really, and I wasn't. Oh, nothing to write home about in that.
No, terrific. So I think it came across really well, because that's the main thing we go for, which is enthusiasm. And you had that. And like I say, you had, I suppose, the second most important thing, which is confidence. And you had that in spades. So, but do you think that came from the singing and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the time I was in the band at the time, wasn't I? So I'd gone from doing sort of solo stuff, which was very much, you know, your old people, your working men's club, that kind of thing, which is great because it's your bread and butter. But I think I'd grown a lot in myself, being placed in front of 4 guys playing music very, very loudly. And I had to do something to get over that. And that's where my confidence came from. So yeah, absolutely. Definitely just treated it like a gig, really.
Oh, well, yeah, and it was a gig, and it was a great gig to do. To do that, it's great. And another connection was one of the band members, Adam. He was a cameraman. He would work with us, and that's another interesting story because I was running the health club, and Adam, I'd been to school with Adam, so we knew him from high school, and he came into the health club as a member, and then we were just chatting afterwards. And again, I think he was at kind of a loose point in his life, I guess, as well. And I was telling him about the filming, and he was like, it just sounds really interesting. Can I ever help out? And I was like, ha, yeah, that's your first mistake. Yes, you can help out. So he ended up volunteering to film with us. So, you know, when you came to film, I think the first night he was there, and that helps. And yeah, he's a delight as well, Adam, isn't he? He's good.
Yeah, it was like that first time. I was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, what are you doing here? We're like, we're in a band together. Now you're filming me in this film with Chris. And then me and Adam ended up living together as housemates years later. So, yeah. Shows how that 5 degrees of separation thing, and it's a very small world.
It is bonkers. And what can you tell us then? What was the part of Amy? What was your character? What was going on?
So Amy, so I did briefly mention that she was a man hater, but I think that was more kind of towards the end of the series, because initially she was a bit of a man eater, I think initially. So
yes.
yeah, so I would say I did have very blonde hair at the time, and I would say Amy was definitely your naive, stereotypical blonde, completely taken in by, a wrong assumption that Josh was a policeman. Josh obviously thought this was getting him laid, and it all went a little bit wrong from there, didn't it?
All right. I'm trying to meet someone. She's
Henry.
She's a girl, obviously.
Henry.
Not Henry. Part of the thing. Oh, just before I deviate, my mouse mat is a little Love Hurts.
There it is.
And we've got Lauren at the end there with the hair, yeah. So
yeah.
So there you go. So I thought I cut the screen on. But no, so that's how it began. It began with Josh going on his second date, it would have been. And he meets up with Amy, and I think she kind of dismisses him immediately based on his appearance and stuff, doesn't she?
I think the line is, you're not really my type. Yeah. But we'll have the date anyway because I've got loads of time before my next date.
That's exactly
that was
right.
The line, if memory serves.
It must be Amy.
Oh my God, how did you know?
What can I say? I'm a bit of a detective.
Well, anyway, Josh, how are you?
I'm actually not too shabby, all things considered. Well, you know that.
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just to let you know, you're not really my type.
Oh, right. Well, how would you know? You've just met me.
Bit of a detective myself, Josh.
Right. Yeah, terrific. And she only takes an interest when she thinks Josh is a policeman, and then she jumps on that bandwagon, and Josh, being the kind of numpty that he is, continues with it, and then a hostage situation ensues, as it does. So.
Yeah, very sore knees from that scene.
Oh, yes.
Spent a lot of time on the floor. I should have really put that into context, shouldn't I?
Well, yeah, but I tell you what, no, because you had some big dialogue and not many outtakes either, really. Considering you had loads of dialogue to do when you were in that sequence there. So it's, and again, you did really well to remember it all and do that. And yeah. And the other part, what was it like filming it? Because it was shot separately, wasn't it? So what can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, there were parts where I was kind of talking to myself, because obviously, I suppose it had worked really well at the moment with social distancing, because we all kind of filmed individually because of schedules, didn't we? So that was really strange, kind of almost having conversations with yourself. But it worked really well because, like you said, we got less outtakes. You were fantastic. You was able to prompt with the script and everything like that. And I think it worked really well, especially for someone like me who isn't an actor and had never done something like that before. It wasn't sort of a big set with loads of people there and loads of different cameras and things like that. It was quite an intimate setting, which worked really well, and it just put me at ease. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
And so, like you say then, it is a big leap of faith for people who haven't kind of worked on these things before, and especially when we film untraditionally like we do, like, a 4-person scene and nobody's there apart from you. So I'm like, you're talking to somebody here, you're talking to somebody there, and it's very courageous and great people like yourself who just go for that, and jump on that bandwagon and think, right, I'll do it. So what did you think at the end of it then, when you saw the kind of finished product, and then you saw people in the scene with you that obviously weren't there at the time, people that you've never met? How did that come about?
It was so strange. I mean, it was brilliant. The finished product was brilliant because you would never have known watching it that at the time I wasn't sat next to you having that conversation, or, something like that. And it's quite weird because I remember looking at some of my facial expressions and I'm thinking, I know I'm looking at nothing. I'm looking at an open door, there's nothing there. But then when obviously you've edited it all together, I'm like, oh, wow, I managed to hit that expression all right, considering I wasn't really looking at anything. So to go from that kind of weird technique of filming to the finished product, it just worked really well.
And like you say, it's now kind of ironically we've now developed a COVID-friendly way of filming. You know,
Yeah.
you know, we get calls off Tom Cruise how to finish Mission Impossible. We're like, well, you know, we've been doing this for
Absolutely.
years, Tom. It's easy, but yeah, and it's strange how that tactics come about, and I've ended up using it. That's the first time I really used that proper tactic on a big film, and I've carried it on and on. So yeah, it is very handy, but obviously the downsides are if the actors don't quite meet the same tempo, but you know, you can't always hit a home run, can you?
I don't
But
think you did too bad, to be fair.
I remember Adam being like Jesus when he saw the take. He's like, because you know, I think, how did you put that all together? Like, I don't know. I hope, and that's as far as I get, and see what happens at the end of it. And so you came back in that same season, didn't you? Forgive the
Yes.
spoilers, but if people have not seen
Yeah.
it by now.
I know what where the only people that have been hiding under rocks, I think, won't have seen Love Hurts.
Yeah.
So if you've been hiding under a rock, and especially you've got no excuse now, we've been sat at home for near on 12 months.
Yeah.
You know, there's so
Yeah.
much you can watch on Netflix.
Exactly. And why aren't we on Netflix? That's
Yeah.
the other question. Because I could use the money.
Why are we on Netflix yet? Is the question.
Yeah, because we're aiming for above Netflix. We're hoping
Amazon
for, you know,
though. Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. We was on
Prime.
Amazon. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was on Amazon Prime. So, you know, already in that big league.
It's nice. This new series is going on a different site as well, so that's good.
Oh, amazing.
So tell us about your
I,
reappearance.
Yeah, so my reappearance. So I came back at the end, I think, or towards the end. And this is where it gets a little bit murky. So I'd become a man hater.
I thought you said I become a man. I was like, I'm going to stop you there.
Well, in this day and age, who knows?
We're not here to judge.
No, absolutely not. I'm totally addicted to RuPaul's Drag Race at the moment, to be fair. It's all I've been watching through lockdown. Loving it.
Okay.
Yeah, so while we're on the subject. No, so yeah, I made a reappearance. So not to any spoilers, Josh kind of turned Amy into a little bit of a man hater, I think, when she found out that he'd just lied and obviously, you know, was just not very nice to her because, you know, she did absolutely nothing wrong. She was a pure saint. And she ended up getting a broken leg, I think, which was quite funny because at the time I had an injury and we kind of wrote that in, I think. Filmed me walking down the road with a crutch for sort of a flashback.
Yes, yeah.
And then the final, I was there. Amy was there, part of the We Hate Men conference, which led her to locking eyes with Josh again.
Yeah, great. And there was another funny story of that, but I don't know how to save that story. Do you know, we had a bit of delay, didn't we, for a couple of hours on that shooting that sequence?
A long delay. Tell the story.
We're shooting this sequence and we're making excellent progress. I'm running all around the room. I probably did about 60 shots in 2 hours and making excellent progress. And then as you do, you realize the microphone's not on and you've not recorded a single a word of any dialogue whatsoever. There's nothing recorded. So I take Ricardo, who's with me at the time, you're helping out filming. I take him outside. I level with him about this, and he said basically we've got to refilm it. He said, well, let's just tell him. I said, we can't tell him we've not recorded any sound for the last 2 hours because morale is going to just plummet and everyone's going to be really pissed off. So he says, we just tell him potential technical glitch and continue. I went, great. So we went back in and said, hi everyone. We're just gonna redo what we did. It was so good. But we're just gonna quickly redo it again because there might be a technical glitch, but there probably isn't, but there might be. And a lot of people nodded, and the only one who kind of had a frown thinking about it was actually Lauran going, that doesn't seem to add up. Because before that day, all I had off me was, I can come down to film, but I need to get to the gym at this time. I'm like, No problem. No problem. And then, sure enough, you were about 2 hours late. So I don't know how was you feeling at the end of that?
Knackered.
Oh.
Absolutely knackered. No, I think because that was obviously there was a lot more of us filming together. Again, not one for spoilers, but yeah, when you watch the final episode, you'll see that it was done on a bigger scale than the other episodes. So I think it was a case of you're working with a lot more people, so obviously they're going to come across like their hurdles that they've got to get over, and then you've got to get over yours, and then you've got to film the whole thing again, and it was just like, oh my god. But it was great fun though. It was great fun, and I was really excited to get past the point that we'd filmed up to see how the rest of it was going to play out. So yeah,
nice.
It kind of made me more excited for filming the second part.
Okay, great. And what was it like then going from working with no one to then going to work with everyone? Wasn't there really in that bit?
Yeah, it was just like a different experience, because like I say, you're not talking to yourself. You were actually interacting and acting with other characters. So yeah, and it was good to kind of see how other people work and what they do, and you know, look at their outtakes as well, which was funny. And it's good because every time there's a mistake, you think that's going to make a good outtake. That'll be a good outtake. And you're almost more excited for the outtakes than you are the actual finished product.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you totally. It was my sister's idea actually to put the outtakes on at the end of the episodes, and I think they're really great. They really add to it. Just as a side note, this feature film we've been doing now for a year, we've got 58 minutes of outtakes.
Wow.
So nearly a feature film of outtakes. So that's how unprofessional this squadron of actors have been. A feature film of outtakes. So that's great. So moving on. So you were in the third episode and the fourth, and then you came back for the finale. Was that all we saw of you in the Love Hurts universe, Lauran?
No. So
No.
I was then in the prequel to Love Hurts, young Josh. So hopefully no more spoilers. If you've not seen young Josh, why not? But yeah, so I got a message from you, Chris, randomly out of the blue. Because it must have been, God, what, maybe 2 years later, maybe longer. I can't remember how long now there was between Love Hurts and young Josh.
I think actually it wasn't overly random, because I was just on the verge of writing the script. So I was looking for characters from the first season to potentially come back. So people who don't know, Young Josh was a prequel to Love Hurts. And so we could have some original cast members coming back to play like adult versions or parents of the younger versions of that. So I played Josh's father, and my nephew Jensen played young Josh. And so I was thinking of cast members who could come back, and I bumped into you and Adam in 15s.
Yes, you did. Yeah. I think I was a little bit drunk that night, which is why I'm saying it was random, because I don't. In fact, yeah, I remember when I got your message, I didn't even remember having the conversation with you like a couple of days before, because I was just absolutely hammered. I no idea, don't know where we'd been or what we'd been doing, but yeah, me and Adam had gone out, hadn't we? And yeah, so you obviously messaged me saying, I'm doing this, have a look at the scripts and let me know what you think. And me being me, just dive straight in, didn't even really read the script. I was just like, yeah, I'm up for that. And that was that. And I think I remember saying to you, I haven't actually read this script, I don't know anything about my character. And it wasn't until we started filming.
You didn't say that to me.
I'm sure I did at one point.
Yeah, towards the end of filming, I think you had read it. Of course you'd read it.
I skimmed it.
Oh, right, skimmed it. I think, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. So when I agreed to it, I'd not actually read the script fully, and I didn't make the association until we're sort of filming, and then I was like, oh, now I understand. When I was actually reading the script, now I get it. Now I know why I'm back.
Oh, because because you're playing your character's mother in a prequel version.
Yes, Yeah, so I was Amy, and then I played Amy's mum, who was called
Miranda. I would place. I think she was called Miranda. I would place a £5 bet. It was called Miranda, and by the time this airs, we would know definitively.
I'm gonna have to go with it. It's really bad, isn't it, that I can't remember my own character's name.
I only remember mine, Jack, because it rhymes with Josh. That's how lazy I am with it. But that was good. And the other like funny story connected to Nen not reading it was because there was actually a kissing scene between the two characters, and so I'm really self-conscious and nervous about things like that. So I sent you the script saying, "Is this like okay?" And then I rang my friend Joanne, who's been in the series, to see if she could like chaperone and film to make sure there's a female cameraman there to make sure everyone feels good. And the irony of that thing was,
previously on
you haven't read that bit.
Ladies, please, can we just stop?
What about men that are being paid more than women?
Women in many fields are being paid less than men.
Excuse me.
Well, here's one now.
One what?
Ignorant male bastard.
You're behind enemy lines now, son. Pardon?
No, but
Look
I
at the
did think
fucking
I'm
sign.
pretty sure you did more filming than
Hate men.
Well,
look, everyone, Tiffany.
Josh? Tiffany, do you actually know this man?
This is my ex, Josh.
Anyway,
We'd arranged to meet up for a date.
Then we actually have dinner reservations.
Are you mocking us?
Do you think that this is funny?
I'm just a guy taking a girl out on a date. And you know what? That's all I've ever wanted to do, okay?
Look, Josh, we're not a couple anymore. I'm not going out with you. So just piss off.
What did I tell you? All men are
Honest
bastards.
to God, so it's suddenly the whole thing took a change of tempo. We kind of got this light-hearted kind of
All right, that's it. You've all done it to me. I am officially grinded down. I've tried to be kind. I've tried to be polite. Now I'm going to do the worst thing you could possibly do in this day and age. I'm going to be honest.
I think there was a lot at the time.
You've given me your
the thing
opinion.
Was,
Now let me give
in
you
the
mine.
area we shot, it was
You want me to
just
guest
so
speak?
Hot. There was
I'll guest speak.
no circulation at all. Hot because of the temperature.
Yeah.
You think you can handle it? Questions? Facts?
Do you know what, Bev? I've been teaching and educating, lecturing for the past 8.5 years and over 5 subjects, so... Do you know what, Bev? Bring it fucking on.
It was just awkward positions and everything, and then there was the big toilet roll holder nightmare.
Josh, I think you should just go.
Hey, if he wants to stay, let him stay.
Worst decision you could have made, but fuck it. Here we go. I'll start. Okay, let's go back to this sex gap trap business, shall we? What exactly was your issue with that?
You did say something like, imagine if somebody...
The exclusionary jobs that only males can do.
Like what?
Pardon?
I mean, like what exactly? Because last time I checked, we had female pilots, we had female police, we had female army soldiers. Last time I checked, we had more female journalists. We had more female social workers than male, and more female secondary school teachers than male. And in fact, they predict in the next 8 years there'll be twice as many female GPs to male. So what does that mean exactly? I should take a deep breath, put my thumb up my arse, and come back here in 10 years' time learning about my male fucking oppression.
But yeah, so that's interesting. That's something you didn't know about there.
Yeah.
So, because that
There
was
are
quite
other professions that women are excluded from.
Oh yeah, you are right. Because in fact, I believe there are more male rubbish men to women. But for some reason, no one in this room seems to be moaning about that equality, do they? Right, Ed?
I just
Google
because you not
that
read
one.
the script. I thought I'd actually seen the.
I've heard things.
Because I was about to talk about the ending, and I thought, wait a minute.
You're missing the bigger picture.
Well, fuck it then. Let's look at the bigger picture, shall we? In fact, fuck it. Let's look at the global picture, shall we? Do you want to know how well we're doing in this country at present with female equality? I'll tell you. The global gender gap shows at present Iceland is the best and Yemen is the
I
worst.
have seen it, yeah. I have seen it.
So you may not think we're doing a good job, Bev, but you know what? We are still doing a better job than Cuba, Austria, Canada, United States, Barbados, Costa Rica, Mozambique, Panama, Poland, Pakistan, Fiji, Ethiopia, Turkey, Jordan, France, Algeria, Greece, Colombia, Russia, and motherfucking Kazakhstan.
Take it easy on the Kazakhstans.
You may not think we're doing a good job, Bev, but you know what? And on a global gender scale of 135 countries, the UK ranks 18th, which I personally don't think's too fucking shabby. Do you? Do you? Of course you do, but here's my point. If you really, really want to focus on female oppression, fuck off and do it in Yemen.
No, that's good. I was feeling the bluff there, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Hey,
Smash it, and that was great. So, yeah, and thank
what
you,
about the wages
thanks
gap?
again for taking part in that, 'cause that was a great.
Am I the fucking Chancellor of Exchequer? No! No! You had a female Prime Minister for 3 terms.
Maggie?
So if the Iron fucking Lady couldn't sort out your problems, what hope would you seriously place in the hands of a random man, a total stranger that walked into a room lost? I'm not Harry Potter! I got a fucking wand that can correct the National Review of Female Equality and Wages across thousands of professions in the United Kingdom! Ah!
Miranda meets Jack in the bar and suggests she's got 30 minutes, so he should abandon his kid and go for a quickie in the toilet. You know,
And-
a husband's on a late shift. Why
And what
not?
does the husband do? What does the husband do?
And he's a policeman.
And so it goes
Amy
full
idolises her father, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's really great how that's tied in.
yes, that's a really nice touch to it there, and it's yeah, say it just adds up perfectly, really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
With that
definitely.
one. And I was going to say, have you seen any of these Zoom dates at all?
I have, yeah. I have. They've been so great. Obviously, it's lockdown, so you can't leave your house. There's not much to do. And it's always good when I'm scrolling through Facebook and something pops up from Love Hurts and it's another Zoom date. So I don't know if I've seen them all, but I've seen a few of them. I honestly, I don't know if I've seen them all because I don't know how many there is.
Well, WTF? I don't know. I mean, is this too much of having a good time? Is there?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So, oh no, that's okay. Do you know the nice thing about them is that they're just kind of they're very small episodes, aren't they? And they're just great stocking fillers, I think, and that's what's great. But here's the next question: Do you think that Amy could somehow materialize into a Zoom date?
Absolutely. Yeah,
This is the next
Amy's
question.
definitely not settled down yet. So, and she's not settled down. She's not going to be going and breaking COVID regs because dad's a policeman. So she's not going to be doing that. But she is man hungry, and she's not gonna want to be, having no interaction with males. So definitely, Amy would be Zoom dating.
Can I ask then, because I'm a bit of a lazy writer, why do you think, how or why do you reckon these two could end up on a Zoom date?
I reckon that something like a dating website or something. They see each other. Obviously, it's been a fair few years. They've both changed in their appearance a little bit, and I think it could probably be an accidental Zoom date where Josh probably does remember Amy, but Amy doesn't remember. So Amy gets onto the Zoom date and she's giving it all the one-liners and stuff that she does with every other date, and then I think the penny will just suddenly drop. And that'd be quite funny to see what that reaction would be.
because I was thinking, I've been thinking about this ever since, just since yesterday when you said we were going to come on and do the interview. I was just thinking, I wonder if Amy would come to do a Zoom date. But then I was thinking of how you would establish an old character in a new series for people that haven't seen the old series. So, I mean, but like you said, I mean, maybe there's just a quick answer that literally just having a Zoom date and you establish in the first sentence they had a brief date beforehand and don't necessarily go into the other bits. So there's another question then. I know you briefly touched on it. So where do you think she's up to at the minute? Amy.
So obviously she's a little bit older now, isn't she? So she's probably thinking.
We all are.
She's probably gone the other way. So she's probably panicking now that she is getting on. She's been, not very successful. She went through the stage of probably not dating because she was hating men after the date with Josh. So she's probably maybe gone sort of the other way now, where she's perhaps becoming a little bit more serious about dates and kind of jumping on to thinking everyone's going to be the one, as opposed to before, where she was just dating as many people as she could, perhaps. Who knows? But yeah, I think she's probably looking to maybe settle down rather than keep playing the field, and maybe learning a little bit about herself as well. So saying, I was naive back then when we had that date, Josh. I wouldn't be falling for those tricks now with being a policeman, that kind of thing.
I'm cheating a bit. I'm making notes of things. I think because the other good
it'd be
thing
quite
about...
funny. It'd be quite funny if Josh had done something like volunteered as a special constable in his spare time, or a COVID warden or something, and he's actually trying to convince her that he is sort of a policeman now, and she's having none of it because she's not being naive again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't overly want to share this, but do you know, last year it nearly happened to me. I was nearly a policeman last year.
Oh wow!
There was a complete move of insanity, and there was a fast track postgraduate thing into the police force. So literally, it was like another stage of this Josh prophecy thing kind of coming true. And I was in London on the final stage of this this fucking stupid adventure, where at the end of it would lead to 10 weeks police training. I thought, this is getting ridiculous now. When does this stupid thing stop? So yeah, I was very nearly. I know we're digressing massively. But yeah, I was very, very nearly.
That's amazing.
Not really, no. It was. You had to. Sorry.
Think of the inspiration you would have got though for all the for the new films and the new series.
No, it was a terrible idea for everyone involved. I had 3 examinations on the day, and you got like a psychological analyst at the end of it, and I believe the last one let me down. But yes, I could have been PC Hembury. But yes, it's a good thing the cells would have been full under my watch.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so there's a little bit of side information there for you. Yes, so very cool. So yeah, that's brilliant. So hopefully we might see you again pop up in the Zoom dates then.
Absolutely.
Because I thought, wouldn't it be funny if there was more people from the season or an entire season of Zoom dates where it's people that we've already seen before.
Yeah.
It's the challenge of how, isn't it? But yeah, got some notes there. And the other good thing is they're only about 3 minutes long, and they're great fun to do. And just as a little side note to bore you on was, I've got a cast of 8 actresses for Zoom dates, and apart from an American actress who I met in Los Angeles at a festival, I've not physically met any of the cast members. It's been entirely shot, auditioned, and rehearsed online. So
wow,
just bonkers, isn't it? So if you're in it, I would have met you. So I'd have been like,
oh, there we go. At least you'll have met one of your dates.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another question I asked Claudia yesterday. Have you ever had a Zoom date?
I have never had a Zoom date, no.
I've never had a Zoom date. Yeah.
No, I've never had a Zoom date. In fact, this is probably the most, other than work meetings, this is probably the most Zoomy thing that I've done. So
it's crazy.
I know. I think the first lockdown, everyone went mad, didn't they, for like Zoom quizzes and stuff like that. And that seems to have petered off a little bit now. But yeah, no, never had a Zoom date. So it'll be interesting if I do come back for a Zoom date.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I've had 8 film Zoom dates, but never a real one. But I'm just such a good actor. I can just imagine what they're like. So I can't imagine how much fun they would be.
I think they've captured things that you would imagine that could go wrong, or on a Zoom date. You know, I don't know if I'm there with the whole Zoom dating thing. Don't know how effective it would be.
Well, it's strange as well. You say that there's all these things that go wrong, and there's fans of the show, and they actually send me ideas for episodes, and their ideas are fucking nuts. Some of them, it's like honestly, I was like, I don't want to put myself through that. It's like some really crazy ideas. It's like, said it'll be funny. I thought, not for me. It's like, you know. But there's a shout if anyone does have any ideas. And again, I'm a lazy writer. Please send them to me, I guess. But a bit less dark, though, if you can. A bit happy. Yeah. Let's make it happy. So
goofy Zoom dates.
Yeah, I think so. Something fun to do. Well, I think that is pretty much where I'm up to, I think, with that. It's been just really, really, really nice touching base with you and chatting and reminiscing on the adventure, which was Love Hurts. There you are. Oh, wrong one. There you are.
Wrong one. There.
And so brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much. And
thank you. It's been great.
And hopefully you'll come back and we will have a chat about how your Zoom date went, hopefully.
And I will 100% remember this conversation when I get a message in my inbox saying, do you fancy coming and filming this? I will remember it this time.